All right, so welcome to another episode here. What we're going to do is we're going to evaluate DWAC. So this stock is fairly speculative, so I'm going to just share with you some tidbits on the technical analysis front, and then you can obviously make your own personal decision. Keep in mind, none of these are recommendations to buy, sell, or trade anything. It's just my own personal opinion. So let's kick things off, and let's kind of go to a couple of quick little news insights, and then what we'll do is we will go on and hop to the charts. So DWAC, it's kind of a digital world acquisitions. I would say this stock is speculative because it is new, right? Newer stocks are usually more speculative because shares have to be distributed. The more they are distributed amongst different people, different entities, it just makes it a little more stable because then not any one person or let's say less people are dumping it or buying it for that matter. So it helps stabilize things. So as we take a look at this stock and company, it's basically a run on media companies and so on. You can read about it, of what it's all about. But if we look at the stock, I mean, it's kind of, look at it right here. It just came out, so, September timeframe or so. And this stock is, went a little bit sideways and then exploded. We got some sideways action right now, but here's the thing to watch is this recent up move right here where you got volume picking up. So that is a good thing when you're looking at it from a stock perspective, right? I'm not talking about, hey, do I really enjoy the company, like the company? Do I not like the company? I mean, it's still kind of new to the market, right? It hasn't been around for 50 years or something like that, like some of the other companies. So it's tough to really understand it. So that's why when you look at something like this, it is much more speculative. And by speculative, I'm talking about, let's say you had $1,000 and you were looking to invest it. If I'm looking to invest $1,000, if you are interested in a stock like this, you might put in from a speculative position, $100 or $200. The other 800 should be in something more stable, and something that, brings in maybe dividends or something that, you can understand much more so because it's got more price history and stability. So anyways, that's just diversifying capital. You don't put everything in one basket. So anyways, if you're good with that, and we start looking at and evaluating the stock, here it's tough to evaluate the full long-term longevity of this right now. So we're kind of looking at this more recent term right here. So you did have some issues right around, the highs. We got into the highs at 175 exactly. So I think somebody just put in a market order there and they got filled. So 175 is a problem, but otherwise they were pricing it at around 120. If we start zooming into about a 65 minute, maybe a 130 minute time frame, we really had a lot of action and price that happened around 65. And you can see we're trending here. There's a lot of resistance there for a few days. Then we came back up around December 6th, 7th, 8th. Right here to touch it. We had the lows of about 40, so this was kind of your support level right there. Anyway, then we started picking up some steam, okay? So 50 again was a nice support level. The stock kind of held there for a little while. We started to pick up some steam, and that's where things started to accelerate. Now that's where we've got a lot of volume coming in because the volume was kind of drying out, but now people are picking up some shares and it's starting to accelerate and pick up speed in the stock. So here again, at 65, we kind of had that break because we had a resistance right here, resistance right here, resistance right here. But again, keep in mind, speculative stock, right? This is speculative. Just because you might get excited over something, remember, how much capital do you allocate? It's still speculative. So I just want to emphasize that because you don't know how wild this thing can get. It can, run up very quickly, but it can also come back and drop down to these levels, pick up some support, and continue to power higher. So anyways, these are the things you're kind of watching as you start looking into something like this because you're looking at, okay, if now that we've got this breakout that's happening a little bit, remember we've had that 120 level, 125 level where we've got resistance. So as this is breaking out, this could come back up right here, keep going higher, pull back to this level here and bounce. And that's one thing to watch out for. So again, I'm still only looking at 130 minute right now because it breaks down evenly into the charts, but this stock does not have a lot of price history. So it's tough to really gauge where it's going to go. You can only do it based on your belief or fundamentals. But even then, fundamentals usually only apply. So if I look at a fundamental of something, and I look at like earnings reports, I look at what the company's done, the product cycles, all that. Fundamentals, usually these bigger companies or companies on the stock market, it takes months for them to change. So it's basically if you believe your belief in the story, if you believe in those kinds of things. But with fundamentals, it takes months to years to make a change. So if I'm looking for Microsoft, for them to make a change, it takes a long time. We did have an acquisition with Activision and Microsoft, but other than that, they're going to acquire things. Otherwise, it takes a long time to make a change. So here, if you're basing it on fundamentals, it's based on your belief. If we're looking from the chart perspective, I have to look at it kind of at a shorter term duration. And the shorter term duration right now, we're powering higher. But remember, it's still speculative because maybe you hold it for like a week or two. It's kind of new. It gets into the 100 and then you're out. That could be kind of a trade concept. But again, it just depends on what's your hold time. Like, are you looking to hold for a week? Or do you really believe in the stock and then you're looking for long-term? For a long-term hold, you don't have a lot of price history. If you're holding for, and then you have to go off the fundamentals. If you're looking to hold for a couple of days, you know, you're trying to get this thing to run right here and then take your profits probably somewhere around that 120 level or so. Otherwise, there's just not a lot of great price action for the long term yet. What you have is the recent price action, which it's doing quite well. You're starting to see it like pick up speed and steam right here. So there's kind of like your breakouts, like it'll consolidate for a bit and then you get like a pop. It'll consolidate and you get a pop. So you're kind of looking at a much shorter duration, and this is just recent over the last few days. So anyways, it's looking good here at this price point and level. My concern is that if it does break below kind of this $40, that could be an issue, or the fundamentals or the ideas of people, the mentality, the belief runs out, then yes, the stock can sell off quite heavily because it is speculative. So just be careful anytime we're talking about speculative things. Use less capital, use less cash. You just don't know how long that run will last because it'll come out. It's not something like a Disney. It's not something like a Caterpillar. It's not something like, you know, a Microsoft. It's not these types of stocks. These types of stocks are much more speculative. They're new. The volume is nice though, I will say. And then when we look at just DWAC, we look at the open interest. It is there. You have volume, you have some open interest for sure. But always be mindful of, you know, just that it's still new and that these stocks can pull back fairly quickly. Anyways, thanks for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this video. Feel free to check out my other options trading videos at Traders Fly and subscribe to the channel if you're brand new. I will see you in the next video.